Hi, welcome to the next lesson, which is the memory review part 1. This technique consists of the following. At the end of the day, review all the day's events in reverse order. That is, starting with the most recent occurrences and ending with those that took place when you arose in the morning. It's unnecessary to go into too much detail, but simply dwell on the sequence of each event during the day. Faced with each situation that you lived through, just ask yourself if you could have acted better than you did and how you could have done it. It should be stressed that the purpose of the exercise is not to inflict feelings of guilt, but rather to try and learn from yourself, your own life, and from the circumstances in which you've been. And you are also allowed to fall asleep when you do this exercise. This should last a minimum of 5 minutes until you fall asleep. And the question is really, how could I have done better? My comments, this is a natural counterpart to concentration, but it works on memory and not just on thinking. It is most important to be able to distinguish between the feeling of remorse and the thought of learning through your own experiences. Usually at first you will note how easily you fall asleep during this exercise. In fact, this is altogether normal. Many observers claim this exercise is the best sleep inducer that they know. But after a certain time, you'll notice that a certain prolonged conscious activity takes place during the night. This impression is very subtle, and you should take care not to stifle it. It is advisable to practice this exercise, if possible, before total exhaustion overcomes you. Variations. You can review how any event took place, for example, at work or any other meeting. It should be stressed, however, that the main form of the exercise should have priority. This exercise remains fruitful over a very long period and can usefully be practiced for very many years. An interesting and fruitful variant is to observe how unexpected events take place. Once continuous consciousness during the night is set up, the exercise can be added to with a short review of the day ahead's projects carried out at the moment you get up, as a kind of mirror image. In the evening, it can be very interesting to compare what has been really lived through with what you imagined was going to take place in the morning. You can also try reviewing a year, month by month, over a 12-day period, or a whole lifetime, year by year, over a period of days. This can show us how we ourselves prioritize what we consider to be a year's or even a lifetime's main events. And here are some personal notes, and these are a few questions that can arise at this stage. First group: if I could have done better, how? Can I do it next time? If there is no next time, what happens? Can I compensate for any damage that was done? How can I do that? And here are some further questions. Am I developing my own ethical code? If not, who is imposing it? This exercise, as I say, is a natural counterpart to concentration. If the former one leads itself to a non-sensory experience, this second one leads directly to ethics, to a moral code which is by no way imposed from outside, but derives naturally from the being and the experiences of each of us. The importance of the exercise lies principally in the possibility that each person forms his or her very own ethics. More precisely, it should be noted that no outside criteria or dogmas are imposed on us to judge what constitutes an improvement in our behavior, but we do so ourselves in accordance with our own criteria and by our refining them. Through this, we create and reinforce our own morals, not only as a system of values, but also in the most correct manner possible, as something which has an evolutionary character, which we do not try and impose on anyone else, but which we apply to ourselves first and foremost, and which arise from our own personal circumstances. This exercise is particularly important since it allows us to discover that the path proposed here is a true path of development. It leads us to improving ourselves through our own free efforts. It's furthermore useful to note that by becoming aware of our own weaknesses, we become less able to accuse others for theirs. The reverse order of the day's events is not a random choice, but corresponds to something precise. It is up to each of us to discover what that is for ourselves. It may be useful to note the parallel that exists between what is being done in this exercise and the experience testified to by various persons who have been close to death and who see their life pass before them as in a picture. The results of research into exactly how far back you can reach in memory can also be very revealing. Can you compensate for your failings at a previous time? Thank you for your time. For comments, etc., as usual, please contact me. Thank you.